Hey guys, so it's here bringing you another video. Welcome back to Climb to Master Season 11, and this is Game 2 of the tryhard session I had a few nights ago. If you didn't watch Episode 1, it was on Ari. It genuinely might have been the best I've played in a really long time. Today we're playing Corki, and I'm just kind of pointing out here that we've got a support main as our AD carry. My Corki games so far this season haven't gone well, and the duo queues are a little bit different. The enemy bot lane is duo queue, and our top and jungle are duo queue. But the weird thing is the enemy team has a Karma top lane. Karma top used to be a thing, and it was kind of always a cheese pick. I don't think it's a thing anymore. I don't think there's a resurgence in Karma top lane. So it was a bit weird to see that. And the person is a top lane main, doesn't normally play Karma top, so I'm not really sure what happened. I don't know if some content creator made a Karma top video or something, because that usually seems to be the case. If there's like a weird pick like that, it's like, oh, so-and-so uploaded a video playing it, and it's like, oh, okay. Again, always do your research, even with me. You know, don't just trust content creators willy-nilly. I'd like to think of myself as a fairly trustworthy person, and if I'm playing on a Smurf, I will tell you guys and make it very well known. A lot of people don't. A lot of people in the League community are playing in custom games or very low ranking accounts, and they're trying to make it that they're not. Anyway, enemy team invading, waiting as long as I can, go for the Q, Pokemon Water Gun, and I hit, I think, 3 or 4 of them. We're going to continue the fight. First blood for me, obviously Hecarim has Ghost, no Flash, so pretty easy kill. Obviously reminding people this is a POV commentary style. This is the last of the 2. Again, I did 2. I unfortunately get hooked, have to flash away, don't get an assist on the Nivea. But so far, so good. Not a bad start. So again, some people may say, Huz, I watch all your videos. I watched the champion select video, champion pool video a few weeks ago. Corki wasn't put in your pool. Technically no, but I made a mistake in that video, and unfortunately I'm like, is he going to stop me? And yes, Ezreal stops my base. I am going to teleport back to lane. I was planning to teleport back to lane anyway, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, but Corki, champion pool. He is in my champion pool. I just completely forgot to, well, mention him, I guess. The reason why is in preseason we only played 1 game of Corki, and I know to some people like that's not great to, you know, use for your champion pool, only 1 game experience. But that's the game I got a Pentakill on, and I had so much fun playing Corki. Meanwhile, get all the 3 farms, so that was nice. Yeah, I enjoy playing him. He's not like a proper meta pick, but he's quite strong, and his damage, I'd say, he's pretty underrated. And maybe this game will show you guys. Corki does DPS, damage per second. And even not just damage per second, Corki also can do burst. So hopefully you'll be able to see that as we play. But obviously worth noting the Anivia, why like you might be like, oh, you're playing quite aggressive. Because of that level 1, remind, Anivia died, which also means her passive was used. So usually I'm an Anivia player, even though in my Anivia games have been going really bad, and maybe I'm not going to play a lot of her anymore. But basically, a lot of Anivia's early strength is that knowledge of, I have egg, you know, and to kill me from 100 to 0 in one way, and then to do it again in egg form in the early game is actually quite hard to do. Meanwhile, you'll notice I dodge her Q by walking forward or Wing forward. It's actually quite a nice counter. A really good Anivia might be able to like react in time, but again, that's the first time I did it, so maybe the next time the Anivia would be a bit more like, oh, I know what he's going to do. But the enemy team, again, Karma top lane. I can't remember what jungler they had. We'll look through it. Hecarim, that was it. Anivia mid, and bot lane Blitzcrank Ezreal. So overall, apart, I would say, for the Karma top, the enemy comp is pretty damn good. It's a relatively standard comp. Anivia is one of the best mid laners right now. Blitzcrank is still quite strong. Hecarim going to go for a gank. And the weird thing with Hecarim is, again, very strong jungler. His push, it will connect with you. If the initial charge of his E goes off, it will connect. If you flash, you know, at the wrong time, if you W like that, Corki, he will hit you. And like there, I managed to get in the right angle that it didn't impact me too much. But man, I have seen some really, really dodgy. And by the way, go for the Q. That missed somehow. Hitbox, please. Again, if anything within the circle you would think is hitting, and that should have been on the edge, but it didn't. But yeah, so the Hecarim E is a bit weird. There are a few champions that I think their abilities need to be a bit looked at in regard to that. Just to name a few, Hecarim E Echo E, and Darius Ultimate. I don't like that these kind of abilities exist. Meanwhile, Anivia going aggressive on me. Why? Because there's the Blitzcrank in mid lane. I don't really know why. You can see Ezreal in bot lane isn't, you know, in a crazy safe place. But luckily for me, Kayn was in the area, and we're going to go for a 1-for-1. My bot lane, however, playing very passive. You know, they're kind of trying, I guess, freeze it from the Ezreal. But maybe I would have expected them to go a little bit aggressive, knowing that the Blitzcrank just isn't in lane. And yeah, I got caught out there. I just wasn't surprising a Blitzcrank to gank me at level 3. I don't think most people would, to be honest. But at least the Kai'Sa's being able to like have a nice, easy farming game. Hecarim, we just saw on the minimap, is after the Kayn, but he does survive. And yeah, we got Kayn on our team, a champion that I still think is basically broken, and the patch hasn't fixed it. Meanwhile, my team going aggressive, they nearly kill the Ezreal, but he will just survive. We don't know where Hecarim is, but he was in the area, so they decide just to back off. Hitting level 5, I'm going to try and go for as much farm as possible. And what I would say is you'll notice that this game, the Ahri game, man, I was just on point. I was really try-harding. I was concentrating. In this game, I was still playing quite well. You'll see throughout this game, I'd say it gets better. But my farm could be better this game. You can see Wukong, by the way, out-farming a Karma top lane. The whole point of like a cheese pick like Karma top lane, in theory, is to cheese the early game, to bully the Wukong and make him behind, and that just isn't happening, so that's a really bad sign for Karma. But yeah, this game, I don't think I played as well as my Ahri game. We do something really good later on, and we do a few things, but that Ahri game, I was just in the zone. You know, if you guys have ever watched sport documentaries, meanwhile, you can see the Corki damage ain't bad. If you've ever watched sport documentaries, a lot of sports people call it, like, the zone or something like that. There's different names for it. That you're just kind of like in a different place and you're just so on it that you're just playing well. That Ahri game is what I would probably say is how I felt. Meanwhile, the Hecarim, once again, reminding people, doesn't have Ghost, doesn't have anything like that, so should be pretty easy to go for it. Unfortunately for us, I missed my rocket. Anivia's less than 20 health at the time. Hecarim also survives, so that should have been at least 1 kill. Unfortunately for us, we missed both of them. But yeah, that was a missed opportunity. You can see Karma on the minimap was making her way down. Kayn is continuing the fight, and weirdly, you can see that my W didn't work. I have no idea why that didn't get over the wall. It really should have. We're going to get 1 kill, get a nice Q, but now we're in trouble because Karma's teleporting, Ezreal's here as well, and that, ladies and gentlemen, means what just happened? That was 5 people mid lane. Literally all 5. So yeah, enemy team focusing mid quite hard, I guess, this game. To have 5 mid at 6 minutes in the game is a bit crazy. But in theory, again, you know, Karma didn't really get a lot for that teleport, not crazy amount. So Wukong is going to just continue his lead in top lane. Kai'Sa hasn't moved from bot lane all game, so she's just having free farm down there. So even though it's annoying, you know, it's not a complete disaster. What is a complete disaster is the enemy team going for this dragon at a really weird time. Ezreal gets himself killed by the Kai'Sa, and Kayn should and does take the dragon. So that's really bad for the enemy team to, yeah, they won that fight. Okay, great. But now one of them died, the Kai'Sa, the Ezreal, and you give away the dragon. So in all, that actually isn't a terrible situation. Meanwhile, I'm like, Anivia's quite low, so I was kind of just waiting to see what I could do, and I was like, maybe I could go for an all-in. She walls me away, and that's the negative of using the W to engage on the Anivia, is then you don't have the W just to get over her wall. And you can see right now, I go a bit too close to the tower, but that is me scouting. If the Anivia was just basing, I can try and rocket her, stop the base, and just delay her recall. But obviously, she's probably aware of what I'm trying to do as a Corki. But yeah, so far, bit of a fiesta early game. We have our first passive ready to use. Karma dies. Again, that's so bad for Karma to die in a 1v1 to a Wukong. And then that's you know, not bullying him in the early game, going for that roam and leaving the Wukong alone. Yeah, like so far the Karma pick has not worked at all. And the later the game goes on, you're then stuck with a Karma top lane who isn't any form of carry. She's a support type champion. And then you're kind of in a team comp deficit that you have. Well, what a Karma would be wanting to do is really rely on help her team, you know, support them and all that. Meanwhile, going to go for a bit of a damage on the Anivia. That Q apparently lands, by the way. That Q lands, but the one earlier didn't. That confused me. But yeah, Karma would be very reliant on like supporting her team, like keeping others alive instead of carrying. But we have a Wukong who's doing a lot of damage, so It's where the team comp advantage comes from actually having meta champions sometimes. And not even just meta champions, having champions that are intended for their role. Karma's intended to be a support, not a top laner. And obviously there was a meta way back when where Karma did suit the top lane meta when she was a tank. Like, that's what Karma became. When she was like a tank a year or two ago, she was kind of a meta top. Meanwhile, getting another gank and once again use the W, do get pushed anyway, and the Hecarim was legit just in mid. He's back again, and yeah. So the one annoying thing with this game so far is this Anivia is getting a lot of help. Like, a lot of... You guys can notice it. Like, the Blitzcrank has been here, the Hecarim's been here a few times, there was 5 people mid lane earlier. So the Anivia is getting a lot of help. I don't know why she's getting all the help. I don't know if it's my playstyle that's like, oh, this guy is pretty easy to kill. Not sure. But here's just to show you guys the Corki damage. So look at my items. The Anivia is 100% health pretty much. I get my package. You might be thinking she's okay. I W, I land the passive, and then I'm going to go for extra burst. Nearly dead, but then I trust myself and I get the kill. 100-0 an Anivia with just a uncompleted Mura mana. I think it's called a mana immune when it's not complete. That's how much damage this champion can do. Just think of that. That gets better as the game goes. Meanwhile, I get Ezreal ulted, do survive, and I'm like, right, screw this. Hecarim's been mid lane a lot. I ping the Hecarim that he's alive. He is going to come mid lane, so I'm backing off, and lo and behold, there's the Hecarim. He's used Ghost, he wants this Kayn, and right, what we're about to show you guys is how annoying Kayn is. So you'd think that this Kayn should be dead, he overstayed, etc. He's ulted the Hecarim, there's a teleport also coming, he's back through the wall, he's just queuing away. The Wukong, who is his duo partner, hasn't noticed yet, I don't think, fully. Anivia's also in the area, doesn't kill the Kayn, he E's again, heals a little bit, and he's escaped. He's alive. Wukong then going a bit too aggressive, and yeah, Anivia's damage quite impressive, and Wukong will ult because it's a movement speed bonus, and will probably end up surviving. Kayn lands his double W, which slows them, and the enemy team, you can see, they are not happy. They are like, we want kills, we want blood here. Karma overextending on the Kayn, a bit of desperation I can sense from her, and Kayn still not dead, and you can see he's nearly back to full health, by the way. He was nearly dead for ages. Nearly back to full health. Anivia overstaying, arguably. Don't know where Hecarim is, so I was a bit hesitant about this play. I flash. The reason for the flash is just to get away from her ult. I do land and just survive, get her egg form, and I will get the kill myself. So overall, really nice play. Unfortunately for us, bot lane did die, and that was an Ezreal ultimate again cross-map. So this Ezreal is looking for these cross-map ultimates, but we do end up doing quite well there, getting the kill on Anivia. Unfortunately, I didn't get the kill on Karma, but she ends up dead. And yeah, that is what I would say, that Karma, that play really just continuing. Just desperation. She's probably a little bit like, oh god, the cheese hasn't worked. I'm not ahead yet. I have to do something. And it just, again, that's what happens when cheese picks don't work. They get a bit desperate, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. The Karma right now is less than 60 farm, and Wukong is about to hit 100. She's 40 farm down. Meanwhile, we just saw Hecarim in this area, and look, this is so weird from what the Hecarim's doing. Dragon is about to spawn. It's a Hecarim that has no flash, and he has ult, but you're dead. I get the kill, which is nice. 4 of us able to kill him easily, and now we go to Dragon. A really weird time for him to invade there. Not sure why he did it. And that will give us the free Dragon completely. I'm going to leave because they don't need me to finish it, and I'm going to see maybe I can fight the Anivia, possibly, if she does overstay, but it's unlikely that she's going to fight me right now. But yeah, I will say, just please do like the video if you enjoy this type of content. It tremendously helps me climb. If you watched last episode, the Ari one and this one, you can probably notice I am playing somewhat better. It's surprising how much commentating, and again, not really surprising how much commentating takes out of play. So yeah, please do like the video if you guys like this type of content. It's never going to overtake the main type of commentary, but if I do one of those try-hard streams, maybe let's say once a week, it just helps me. Meanwhile, going to go aggressive because the Anivia's... The thing with Anivia, you can see, my core, if I landed that Q there, she would be near dead. I know Anivia really well, and Anivia does good sustained damage, but for the most part, she has a lot of burst, Huzzy Cannon. She has her burst, and when that's over, she's a lot less scary. So once I survive her initial burst, I'm okay to continue taking the fight. And one thing also worth mentioning, while they get caught down there, no assists for me, which I was a bit surprised about. My fight with her wasn't that long ago. What I was going to say is a no survivability I built this game. You can build a Hex Drinker and stuff like that on Corki if you're a bit scared of your opponent. Yeah, I've died 3 times, which is actually quite a lot for me in lane phase, but I wasn't scared enough of Anivia. All of my deaths, if I'm not mistaken, were not because of Anivia. It's because there was 5 people mid, or Hecarim mid lane again, or Blitzcrank turning up in mid. It's never been a 1v1 death because of Anivia, so that's why I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to buy, you know, stuff to counter the 1v1. And now the game, you can see, is getting a little bit more out of control for the enemy team. The Kayn is just taking over the jungle. His mobility, his damage, you just can't really compete with it. Wukong is having a free game. I imagine he's probably got a big smile on his face. I decide to stay in lane a little bit because I'm very close to my mythic item. And I do want to complete that. You can see if you look at my inventory just over there, I have now, and by the way, Anivia went bot lane straight away instead of coming back to mid. Does get the Kai'Sa, unfortunately. But my Muramana is complete. So a bit of a power spike for me. Well, a big power spike that I don't think the Anivia fought me when I had Muramana complete. So the next time she fights me, I've now got completed Muramana and my mythic item. This is where you should look to try and make a play because you can catch people out. That they don't expect your damage just to go boof. So that's where power spikes are pretty important. Use your power spikes when you're buying items or whatever it may be. Use them. So you can see Anivia's in mid, and I think she's just going to run away, because right now I would legitimately own the Anivia. It wouldn't be close in an actual 1v1. Again, sorry for FPS lags. I'm tabbing out occasionally. If you're ever wondering, why does Huzzy's FPS go down to 17 or whatever every now and then? Tabbing out. That's the same for every content creator. When you're, you know, I was technically streaming during these episodes, just was on mute with no camera. So, yeah. I do tab out still occasionally to pay attention to stream things. Wukong did get another solo kill, by the way, on the Karma. Anivia's gone top lane, and just, I guess, to defend what's going on over there. And what you're about to see, everybody, is... yeah, there's a bit of a summary for the game. So I'm a level ahead of the Anivia. I use my W, a little bit of an overshoot, to be honest. I get stunned, nearly kill her straight away. She is going to go down. Oh, God, she's in egg form. I'm low in the enemy base. Water gun that gives me vision. Keep with the DPS with the auto attack, and I do survive. Now you're like, oh, God, Huz, you're in trouble. Karma's now here. Well, let's go for the 1v1. Gonna go for the dodge. Dodge the empowered Q. Gonna go for the Karma. And wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. 2v1 in the enemy base. And yes, he is teleporting out of the enemy base, and I do survive. So that was a nice play, and what you're also about to see, oh my God, that must be incredibly tilting for the enemy team. Well, apparently it was, because I guess in about 3, 2, 1, there it is, enemy team 5-0 surrender. That is the end of the game. So yeah, 2v1ing the enemy in their base, that was enough for them to kind of go, yeah, this just isn't going well for us at all, is it? But there we go. Overall, a really nice game of Corki. Obviously, a bit of a short game being an early surrender, but hopefully you guys didn't mind that too much. But that is nice. You can see the Twitch chat below having quite a nice response to that, which is also, you know, was really fun. And again, one of the nice things of being a streamer is seeing the good responses of people, which is always nice. And yes, that got me back to Platinum 1. So it's been a bit weird. And I'll say these recordings were before 11.2. And just to point out, there was an actual LP bug. It existed. Everybody was trying to deny it, but yes, there was an actual LP bug, and 11.2, Riot has announced they are fixing it. And yes, I do the most damage in the game. But yeah, LP games should be fixed, and that's why some of you were gaining 16 LP and losing 19, even though you had a positive win rate. Apparently the bug was your MMR wasn't catching up with your win rate, so the LP gains are always really low because they thought you had an inflated LP. They thought you had inflated LP compared to the MMR, but that's because the MMR just wasn't moving. So it was a genuine bug. But that is going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, throw a like on the video. Let me know what you thought down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.